Every year since he left the royal family, Prince Harry dutifully travels from his home in California to London so he can support this charity awards event. The charity is Wellchild, and it helps children with some of the most complex medical conditions. So on the third anniversary of the death of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, Harry was back in his home country, and for these families, he was making their day. Of course, he lives in California now, but he still comes back every year, doesn't he, to attend this?
I think it's amazing. I really do. I think it shows how he's dedicated to the Wellchild and his role as patron.
Of course, every time he is back in the UK, there are questions about his family. Will he see them? Will any of them reconcile? The answer to that so far is not yet. King Charles, for one, is in Scotland on what's called Accession Day, reflecting on what happened 3 years ago when his own reign began. He was not seen today, but this was the King and Queen at the famous Braemar gathering on Saturday. Harry's brother, however, was much closer in proximity. Prince William and Kate were in Berkshire visiting the Women's Institute, an organisation very close to his grandmother's heart. It meant at one point today, when Harry made a private visit to the late Queen's grave in Windsor, the two brothers were just 8 miles apart, but meet they did not, and few expect they will this week. Back at the awards, Harry was chatting about siblings, but not his own.
Have you got brothers and sisters?
No, yeah, I've got a younger brother.
Does he drive you mad, or does he not?
No, we get along fine.
There were no media interviews with Harry, but our cameras were allowed to film him chatting to one of tonight's award winners.
I've always said for many years that I still have a child inside of me, and I think all of us do. And being amongst these kids brings that out of me. I think out of all of the qualities that these kids have, without question, their resilience tops it all.
Harry is in the UK for another 3 days.
So, Chris, what are the chances of Harry meeting up with any member of the royal family this week, do you think?
Well, Geraint, I'll try and answer that as succinctly as possible. It's a possibility that they might meet. It's the one question that everyone, of course, wants to know. Will Harry see his father, the King? And actually, there are even some members of Harry's staff here who said they've been asked not to be told because they want to have that sort of plausible deniability whenever they get asked the question. Look, at the moment, the King is in Scotland. He's at Balmoral, marking, of course, what is a very important day in the royal family, Accession Day. 3 years ago, of course, at about this time, indeed, we got the announcement that Queen Elizabeth had died. Harry is in London now. He's in Nottingham tomorrow. So, yes, there's a geographical reason at the moment why the two can't meet. However, if you spin forward to Wednesday, perhaps Thursday, we think both the King and Prince Harry will be in London. And of course, they've been in London together at the same time before and they didn't meet, but it's entirely possible. You would have heard Harry in an interview earlier this year saying he does want to reconcile. What it will come down to, Geraint, is whether or not the King thinks he can trust Harry, because he's worried any private information he might share with his younger son will then end up in a book or in a TV programme somewhere. So that issue of trust is crucial, but this week, yes, father and son might meet. The brothers, however, definitely won't.